Welcome to the Altron interim results presentation Q&A, and I've got the management team, Carl, Vanna, Grant. You've heard from them all this morning in terms of the presentation itself. We will be taking calls via the live conference call, and of course you can enter your questions into the chat box and I'll be sure to put them to management. Van, I'm going to start with you. There are a couple of questions coming through on cost-saving initiatives and what you've undertaken in this regard. There are also comments saying good set of results.
Thanks, Bronwyn. Thank you very much. We certainly have put in a lot of hard work and effort over the last 12 months. And as I said, over the last 6 months, I'd really like to thank our people in particular for that. From a cost savings perspective, probably three major areas. One, we looked quite hard at our support costs, particularly in legal and HR, and we did some cost reduction there. You heard me reference extensively deploying AI within our own operations, and we've had some good traction there, particularly in the aero business, really optimizing our supply chain there. You saw some of the EBITDA margin expansion. And then a big focus for us was property. I think a lot of people kind of post-COVID, with work from home, all of a sudden the need for property is not as big as it used to be. Coming into 2023, I think we had roughly about 98,000 square meters of property available to us. We really drove a considered property consolidation strategy, by either subletting, by letting some of our properties go as those leases come up. And I think over the next 18 months, as some of that flows through into the business, we'll be occupying about 54,000 square meters. So significant reduction in our property footprint.
Carl, you've been in the business since June. Are you happy with the momentum that you've seen from a cost savings perspective?
Bronwyn, I think a lot has been done in the last 6 months. Obviously, there's always more to be done, and we continue to look at opportunities where we can streamline our cost structures and get more out of it. But I think as the results show, a lot's been done. You can see it in the increase in profitability, but there's more to be done.
No holes barred in terms of the questions coming through. Adam Esat from the Motor Industry Retirement Funds saying Altron released its annual report earlier this year only to process large adjustments in the current year on items that were in fact evident at year end. Please, Vanna, can you advise on this, and what is your level of commitment to shareholders from that we won't be subjected to more unpleasant surprises?
Adam, thanks for the question. I think it's a very valid question. Notwithstanding the ANOVA matter, which is still pending, which we spoke about, I think it was about 3 months ago when we issued our trading statement, I'm cautiously optimistic that we cannot expect any more material provisions or adjustments in the two businesses that are held for sale, which is ADS and Nexus. As I've mentioned before, we've got very competent and experienced management now managing those businesses for value until such time as we manage to divest from them. So, fairly confident that there won't be any more material provisions going forward.
Kefiwe Ndlala saying from Mazi Asset Management saying thanks for the presentation, good set of results. Could you please share any plans that are underway to effect disposals on the discontinued operations, Nexus and Document Solutions?
Bron, as I just mentioned, we are actively exploring those options. Unfortunately, the nature of these processes, you can't really give an update until we have something material to tell the market, but it's getting a lot of attention from us. We're actively pursuing those kind of as we speak.
Grant, in terms of Netstar, you've been in the group since January. In terms of your profit improvement strategy that you referred to in the presentation, are you satisfied with the progress that you're making?
Thanks, Bronwyn. Yes, I'll be very, very happy, I think, with our progress. It is still early days in our journey. We've got a lot to look forward to. Really strong management team inside Netstar, really focused on what we're doing and how we improve efficiencies across the business.
Ernst Kaplan, on that note, saying, Vanna, on the previous success of the unbundling of Bytes, what is the likelihood of a separate listing of Netstar?
Ernest, thanks for the question. It's not something we're looking at this point in time. I think we've been quite clear about our strategy, where we want to take the business, making sure, we're a focused business now, making sure that we execute on those profit improvement strategies, continue to drive growth in some of our bigger engines, fintech, health tech, the security business. We look for opportunity to create value for shareholders at all time, but at this point in time, we're really looking to manage the business and really just, maintain and drive our market position and continue to deliver good sets of results.
Charles de Villiers, Ashburton, Carl, I'm going to put this to you. Can you give us an update on the scale or closure of the non-core business units that are continuously negatively impacting the group income statement? Is there an appropriate level of urgency from the executive to exit these non-core assets?
Shal, thanks for your question. Werner mentioned, we are actively working at this, but just maybe to expand on that, the management teams we've got there now have really put an end to the cash bleed on the group. So both ADS and Nexus, while we're busy pursuing the sale, is being managed for value. So, we don't see a significant cash drain on the group. They will contribute a very small profit, but while that is happening, we're still pursuing the sale as aggressively as we can.
Another one for you, Carl. Chris Logan from Opportune, again saying thanks for the presentation. Netstar's operating margin for the first time ever has declined to single digits at 9.9%. Is this not just a new low, and are you not just underpricing in an increasingly saturated South African market?
Now, a very good question. What Netstar is going through at the moment is an investment cycle, and that is required for the aggressive growth that they're on. They're investing in systems, they're investing in platforms, the depreciation charge coming through because of the success in their pre-fit conversion ratio. So all of these are coming through the numbers now, and that's part of the business being on an aggressive growth path.
Werner, Ernst Kaplan, what is your appetite for international expansion? And maybe, Grant, you can add to that in terms of Netstar's aspirations, considering your geographic footprint. Werner, let's start with you.
Thanks, Ernest. No, I think in that slide that Carl referred to, our capital allocation strategy, we're obviously fortunate to have a healthy balance sheet. We're able to deploy that into some of the organic growth initiatives and systems investments that Carl just referred to. We do have an appetite for international acquisition. I mean, we've specifically targeted places like Malaysia. Southeast Asia is a very, very attractive market, particularly in IoT and telematics, and also areas like Netstar, FinTech, the security type business. So we are actively pursuing opportunities at this point in time.
Grant, just from your perspective and specifically around Malaysia?
No, so look, it's an exciting market. Werner and I spent a lot of time talking about it. We certainly believe that that's where the next growth phase in telematics will come. And also, there's new opportunities for us in Australia, and we'll continue to grow our market share in both these regions.
Just want to turn to the conference line. If we have any calls to come through via conference line, please indicate, and we'll obviously put your questions directly through to the management team. While we're waiting for that, Vanna, I just want to come back to Adam Esat and make sure that we have answered this question in terms of management's confidence around the risks posed by the discontinued businesses, and specifically whether they are being closely managed. Now, I know you've already stated that, but Adam goes further to say, are they not just operating on autopilot? I want to make sure that we've given a level of comfort there.
Adam, I can absolutely assure you that they are not operating on autopilot. As I said, we've got management teams very invested in that business. Myself and Carl, we review that business on a monthly basis. So no, that's definitely not the case.
Carl, in terms of your outlook for the next 6-month period, what are you most aware of at the moment or monitoring carefully? It could, of course, be the external environment and the macroeconomic indicators that remain challenging in South Africa.
Yeah, Bronwyn, you're right. I mean, I think the next 6 months there are a couple of big events that's not necessarily under our control. But what we focus on as a management team is that we can control. And for me, that is to continue to keep the eye on cost management, operational leverage, continue to focus to manage all of our businesses for growth. So that's what we'll focus on.
And Grant, in terms of your opportunity from a Netstar perspective, you've demonstrated real traction to this period. The next 6 months, what are you focusing on?
Look, we're going to continue with our profit improvement strategy. That's our key focus now, and to continue to grow our market share. We've got some exciting new products coming to the market, which I referenced to in the presentation. So that's our
Perhaps
focus.
just take us through those innovations a little further. I know you were very excited about them in the presentation.
Don't give away all of our trade secrets. Eh?
So look, I think the big three call-outs, we've got 3 products in field trials. The one is the new NB-IoT device, a wireless product, can be utilized in motorized and non-motorized assets, including cargo. And there's a need for that in the South African environment. The second one is our new recovery device. I think with the increase in theft of motor vehicles and hijackings that we can see, I mean, the new barometer report has shown considerable increases in the first 6 months of this year. And I think it's our responsibility to bring a product to the market that can assist customers and insurers to reduce losses. And then the third one is our product, which is a vehicle-to-vehicle communication device to strengthen our ability from a network perspective. So we're super excited about what we're going to be delivering through on the next 6 months.
Miles Foree is saying, please provide an explanation as to why Netstar's EBITDA ratio has consistently underperformed by 1,000 basis points per annum over the last 5 years. And Cartrack, how does Netstar management plan to close this gap? Obviously, how does Netstar management plan to close the gap with Cartrack in this regard? So, Cara, I'm going to talk to you about the numbers, despite the fact that you've only been in the business since June.
Sure.
But I'm sure you can throw some insight onto this situation.
No, and that's right. I mean, the business, I think it's well known that Netstar went through a very difficult time in the second half of the prior year. And all Grant and his team's focus has been on rectifying and focusing the business. And with that comes increased cost pressure in order to be able to make the business resilient and to be able to sustain the growth. And so for us, that's what we're focused on. With regards to the comparison to Cartrack, I don't really want to comment on Cartrack's performance. We manage the Netstar business, and that's under our control.
And I think you're probably going to put a very similar answer to Chris Logan from Opportune, who is saying Karoo/Cartrack provides an average cost of adding a subscriber to the cloud at 2,293 Rand, and the average life cycle revenue per subscriber at 9,556 Rand. Can you provide similar numbers so we can gauge the economics attached to Netstar? Your question is going to be the same. We manage our business differently.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to discuss with everybody the metrics behind our business, but I really do not want to comment on somebody else's business, whether it's Karoo, Cartrack, anybody else.
Grant, I have to put this to you in terms of the measurement and just slightly your addition to Carol's comment.
So look, I think, we made reference to the way we depreciate. We do accelerated depreciation. So this is a little bit different to some of our peers. I think that plays a significant role. But we've got our auditors having a look at it, and we'll make a comment a little bit later on in this year as to if we're going to make any changes to how we view the depreciation.
Vanna, in terms of the business going forward, the integration of a number of the different subsidiaries into the digital business, can you perhaps just talk to us before we close out?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bron. Our aspiration, as you know, is we want to be the leading platform in IT services business. And, what we really want to do to achieve that now is, the ASI business that we've really now restored to profitability, the Carabina business, and the Altron Managed Solutions business. We're going to put those 3 businesses together. We believe it'll create a powerhouse in IT services in South Africa. And the reason why we're really doing it is, firstly, as you saw in my slide, it really simplifies our operating model. I'm a big believer in focus, basics, and simplicity. What it'll help us do is serve our clients better, and it'll also help us to really grow that business to scale. So, we'll be announcing that. We're busy going through that process right now, and we'll be ready to do that on the 1st of March 2024.
I know I said that was my final question, but one final question.
Sure.
And as I put to Carol earlier, it is a tough economic environment. It continues to be challenging. What are you looking to over the next 6 months?
Bron, I think I'd probably reiterate, some of what Carl said. We can't control externalities, so, we're really focused on what we can do. I mean, having said that, as I said earlier on, I'm exceptionally pleased if you look at our continued operations, so really the businesses that we focused on going forward and where we apply our strategy. 11% revenue growth, EBITDA expansion, 32% operating income growth, big focus on cash control. But I think the big focus for us is to maintain that our balance sheet is healthy. I think it's a very good thing to have at this point in time, build out our annuity business. And I think probably the one thing we don't speak enough about, we had some case studies, is really focus on our customers. Grant also spoke about it, really walking that journey with our customers. So those would be the kind of things. I mean, we feel that if we focus on that, control what we can control, hopefully the rest will take care of itself.
Vanna, Grant, Carl, thank you very much for joining us for this live Q&A session, and thank you so much for your questions. That brings us to a close on the interim results for Altron to the 6 months, 31st of August 2023.